Today, we are reacting to day one of free agency. That is the legal tampering period. We're going to start with the most recent notable moves and work our way back. So, first off, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is signing a 1 year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. This, of course, comes after the release of Tua by the Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins, they were done with him, so much so that over the next 2 years, in the aftermath of cutting Tua in the first place, over the next 2 years, 26 and 27, the Miami Dolphins are taking a combined $99 million dead cap hit. For Tua, it's simple. The man couldn't stay healthy, and when he was healthy, he wasn't a good quarterback, especially over the last 2 years. Couldn't win a playoff game. Their last playoff appearance at Arrowhead, it was pretty much exposed to the rest of the league that even if the Dolphins were to get to the playoffs again or in big games that will determine playoff seeding, that the Miami Dolphins, if they have to travel anywhere north, that they're going to suffer because of the cold, that they're a soft football team led by Tua Tagovailoa. So for Tua, he's going to get a new opportunity to prove himself all over again with the Atlanta Falcons. So that way, it's a 1 year deal. He's going to then either show if he still has it or if he can regain it, or if he still doesn't have it. Either way, that's going to determine his future in 2027. He either plays his way to a new contract. I'm a new man. I'm a new quarterback. Look how much better I am now compared to when I was with the Miami Dolphins, or he looks just as bad as he did in Miami for the last 2 years, and he's forever a journeyman the rest of his career. And what did the Dolphins do in order to replace Tua at quarterback? They signed none other than Malik Willis to a 3 year, $67.5 million contract with $45 million guaranteed. That is ridiculous, objectively speaking. And it's clear that when it comes to quarterback contracts, the NFL landscape is always rapidly changing. But 2 years ago, Sam Darnold, before he signed with the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold played for 3 different teams, a total of 56 starts before he signed with the Vikings for a 1 year deal worth $10 million. 2 years later, we've got Malik Willis, 6 starts to his name in his career so far. He's getting $45 million guaranteed. So $15 million per year guaranteed. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. This is such a Dolphins move that I thought that the Dolphins fired Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel. I thought they were gone. And yet, even though they're gone and they have a new regime, they're still doing the same Dolphins things. So, I mean, good luck to them on that. Malik Willis, that's a head scratcher, to say the least. Mike Evans, he is set to sign with the San Francisco 49ers. And it makes sense. He can still play even at this stage in his career. He's still a beast. And quite honestly, they've gotten burned by the last 2 wide receivers, the premier wide receivers that they had. Deebo Samuel at the end, when all he did was drop passes, and Brandon Ayuk, ever since he signed that contract, riddled with injuries, but also couldn't produce even when he was on the field. So the Niners, they needed a wide receiver, and I think they got a damn good one, Mike Evans, even in the late stage of his career. Good for him and good for the Niners. Tyler Linderbaum, he's signing a 3 year, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed contract with the Vegas Raiders. He's resetting the center market, absolute force of nature. Whoever the quarterback is going to be for the Raiders in 26. You're in good hands with the interior offensive line with at least Tyler Linderbaum. Now, with this news, it's been reported that Jackson Powers Johnson is going to move from center to guard. And I like that for him just because if not, Jackson Powers Johnson needs to be in the league as long as possible. If nothing else, because of his name. Jackson Powers Johnson, that is a football name. And if he weren't playing football, he would be a lead detective that's so dedicated to his job that his marriage is falling apart. Jackson Powers Johnson. I can't come to bed tonight, Becky, because I've got to work on this case and I'm going to do everything I need to do to solve it. Jackson Powers Johnson. So good for the Raiders. Next up, we've got Michael Pittman, former receiver of the Indianapolis Colts, getting traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You need a good, productive receiver opposite of DK Metcalf, and they're going to get that with Michael Pittman. Essentially, they've got 2 wide receiver ones on their roster. That's crazy. Now, who's going to be their quarterback? Who knows? Next up, Jalen Phillips, free agent from the Philadelphia Eagles, is signing with the Carolina Panthers on a 4-year, $120 million contract with $80 million guaranteed. And for the Panthers, they're trying to build upon the success they had in 2025, making it to the playoffs for the first time in the Bryce Young era. So they're going to add on defense. That makes sense. Jalen Phillips, he is a disruptor. He's going to cause some problems. He did so for the Eagles, which is why the Panthers, they jumped on Jalen Phillips the first opportunity that they got. Good for them. Kenneth Walker, he signs with the Kansas City Chiefs on a 3-year, $43 million contract, $29 million guaranteed. Isaiah Pacheco just wasn't holding up healthy enough. His production also dipped as well. So Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, it makes sense that they went after the running back position. Also, Travis Kelce, it was announced that he's going to return for his 14th season, all with the Chiefs. But with Kenneth Walker, that's going to boost up that running back room. It's going to help out Patrick Mahomes a lot. We'll see what else they do in free agency in terms of receivers. Trent McDuffie, former Kansas City Chief who got traded to the LA Rams, is signing a 4-year, $124 million extension with the Rams. For the Rams, their offense is on point. There's nothing to really talk about there. But if you're going to spend money, big money, for that Rams team, obviously you want to look onto the defensive side of the ball, as they were around league average last year in 2025, but certainly they can get better. And by signing the best cornerback in free agency, this free agency, that helps a long way. So for the Rams, you're going to have to look out for them, especially we still have the rest of free agency to go this offseason as well as the draft. The Rams, they're trying to seal up all the holes, all the leaks they're trying to patch up in order to become a better team than what they already were for the last several years. The Dallas Cowboys have traded for edge rusher Rashawn Gary, formerly of the Green Bay Packers. Back-to-back years of trading with Green Bay on the defensive line. You gave up Micah Parsons a year ago for Kenny Clark and a couple of future first-round picks. And now you're trading for Rashawn Gary. It's like the Dallas Cowboys are slowly but surely becoming the Dallas Packers. Alec Pierce signs a $116 million extension with the Indianapolis Colts. And with the Colts hitting Daniel Jones with the transition tag, it seems like you'll at least have your core of Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce, and Jonathan Taylor for another year. You lost Michael Pittman, but we'll see what they do in the draft to fill that void. But Alec Pierce, I mean, damn, highest paid receiver in the league right now. And going back to over the weekend, Jordan Davis signs a 3-year extension with the Philadelphia Eagles worth $78 million. Holy smokes. So that begs the question as far as what are they going to do with Jalen Carter? Are they going to let him go and focus on Jordan Davis? Of course not. Howie Roseman always figures out a way to structure contracts in a way that to where it's like, how are you able to keep all of these players, all of these star players on one roster year after year after year? I don't know how he does it, but he does it. So Jordan Davis with the extension, Jalen Carter's going to get an extension as well. But good for the Eagles and that defensive line. You can keep it consistent, at least on the interior defensive line anyway. David Montgomery was traded to the Houston Texans. Joe Mixon had a foot injury, took out his entire 2025 season. They experimented with Nick Chubb, but that didn't work out. So running back obviously was a huge necessity for the Houston Texans, and they got it with David Montgomery, the knuckles to the sonic of Jahmyr Gibbs, now with the Houston Texans. He's going to provide, David Montgomery, he's going to provide that boom, boom type of running style, something that they desperately need to help out CJ Stroud and company. DJ Moore is being traded to the Buffalo Bills along with a 5th-round pick. The Chicago Bears, they receive a 2nd-round pick, expected to be low end because it's the Bills. And for the Bills, they now have a legit wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen. This man, we talk about Josh Allen and the Bills and how they always come up short. Well, I mean, last year was really their golden opportunity with the Chiefs being out of it altogether because Patrick Mahomes was basically the number 1 nemesis to Josh Allen. But he was doing it last year, Josh Allen, without a true number 1 wide receiver, and he's going to get that with DJ Moore. He's a tough-ass receiver, and he's going to make Josh Allen's life just a little bit easier on the football field. Lions left tackle Taylor Decker to be released. He's being released at his own request after contract talks broke down. 10 years in Detroit, 1 Pro Bowl to show for it, and that's as far as his accolades go, which is a shame because Taylor Decker is a force at left tackle, one of the more important positions in football after quarterback and I would say cornerback. But I suppose in fairness that left tackle in the NFC for the last several years has been super crowded. We're talking about guys like Trent Williams, Tristan Wirfs, Jordan Mailata, Tyron Smith, and lastly, Max Crosby is being traded to the Baltimore Ravens for 2 first-round picks to go to the Vegas Raiders. That is wild, man. Premier edge rusher, that is a premier position in my rankings of football. That's the 4th most important position in the sport, and you're getting one of the best ones if you're the Baltimore Ravens, which could not be more perfect timing because last year their defense was so bad. They had a bottom 10 defense in 2025, 3rd worst versus the pass, tied for 3rd worst in sacks generated. If you've got a legit pass rush, usually the rest of the defense can fall into place. So I'm expecting, and you still have the rest of free agency and the draft to go. Well, then again, you sent 2 first-round picks, so you're going to have to look beyond that, obviously. But if you can find some gems in the draft, I expect good things from the Baltimore Ravens on the defensive side of the ball. So we're talking about going back to Josh Allen and now including Lamar Jackson for the Bills. They brought on a true wide receiver 1 to help out Josh Allen. And with the Ravens, and we talk about this with a lot of players, but definitely for Lamar Jackson to stay healthy. But that defense is going to get a premier pass rusher that I think is going to make all the difference in the world for that Ravens defense.